Welcome to the fifth episode of NFT-DAO podcast. I'm your host, Philip Roberts. Now, before we jump into things, nothing said on this show should be taken as financial advice. Please do your own due diligence before making any investment decisions. And with that said, let's begin. Today, Hud joins me. So, Hud, how are you doing?
I'm good, Phil.
Great.
Things good over here.
So, tell us about your technical background and how you got involved with NFT-DAO.
Well, so I'm a postdoctoral researcher at the University of Wyoming. So part of my work, we are working at the AI Manufacturing Center. So a lot of the work that we do is setting up, autonomous sort of experimentation so that we can change coal-based materials into something that's more advanced. So it sort of has nothing to do with blockchain, really. But that was sort of the peak where we sort of start to see this new paradigm shift, even within the sciences, where you have AI and material science being combined together, and even within that, like some of the things that you see from places like Department of Energy or one of these federal governments, they want things, for example, a combination of AI and what they call like distributed computing, right? So if you think about like a central server of some sort that's training all this big data, now they want to transfer those things on edge computing and things like that. So this idea of decentralized and distributed computing is sort of in parallel, and that's got me thinking, like, this is something that we can actually try with at least this NFT DAO, which was actually pretty interesting because, well, I didn't realize that there was one here in Wyoming, and that's where I started to meet up with Rich Kopcho, and we started talking, and then we started talking about how Cardano is also having, everyone probably has seen that video from Charles Hoskinson, that whiteboard video, and how his connection is with Singularity DAO. So that's basically where I got my foot in this sort of game, I guess.
All right.
Yeah.
So to give the audience a backstory, Hud has volunteered his time to join IOHK's Plutus Pioneers program. And can you tell us a little about that?
Yeah, so the Plutus Pioneers program it's very exciting. So what I see in the first moment is that the whole idea, it's I don't know how long it goes for. Maybe it's like an 8 to 10 week program, if I'm not mistaken, but we're supposed to be committed with like 8 to 10 hours of our time. And I try to make that, obviously, with a full-time job. It's not really that easy to do, but I do tend to wake up pretty early in the mornings now, and I spend those quiet days, quiet hours in the wee morning to sort of sit down and listen to it. So from what I gather, this is the first type of course, first time ever that's ever given to we're the first humans in the whole of the planet who's actually learning this coding program. So I'm really excited for it. And Lars Brunjes, who is the director of the education, he gives us such a brilliant insight into the whole, going into the weeds of it, like telling us the differences between what extended UTXOs are as compared to the normal UTXOs. How's that different? How's ADA and Cardano different than, for example, Bitcoin and Ethereum and all that jazz? And so far so good. And they also have, again, like a very strong community basis on the Discord. And if there's any moment in time when we get stuck of some sort, then we can always engage with other people. They even have, like, I even met people from my own home country, originally from Malaysia, and there's like 5 of us who in the whole of the world that's actually doing this, which is very interesting. So yeah, we work together on, like, we do like live streams. We can talk each other and work through homeworks and all that type of stuff. Makes me feel like a student again, although I guess we all are always learning all the time. Yeah. So, and we also get like weekly digests. So as the community grows, the community also starts to come up with their own sort of, if you don't know Haskell, which is this functional programming, which is the basis for Plutus. It's a very difficult, for me at least. I haven't really gotten myself to a point where I'm super familiar and super yeah, well, comfortable with it just yet, but the struggle, no pain, no gain, I guess. So
So you're struggling a little bit with that, all right? So probably near the end of this, you probably feel better prepared to implement code for NFT-DAO after this whole program, right?
oh yes, so I think a lot of the cases that's being taught within the courses, so Lars doesn't only just concentrate on whatever it is that's going on chain, but he also goes off chain and looks at what's actually going on within the wallets. And then I think just last week he was talking about something with this concept of monads, and which is, I guess, a very Haskell thing to talk about. But it tells you more or less the good advantages and disadvantages of the functional programming language. And so, for example, for those who know Haskell, knows that Haskell has this amazing overloaded semicolon, which is something where you can actually implement more or less a custom based function with each line of code. Anyway, so long story short, yes, I mean, with knowing all how exactly the fundamentals of how the transactions are looking at, or how they're all laid out, I guess. And later on, this is the funny part about it. Lars is going to make us, I think, towards the end, in order for us to get the certificate for this completion of this first ever Plutus program of the world, we have to finish a coding program and get it as a part of an NFT, right? So the certificate itself is going to be made into an NFT, and we're going to be minting it. So it's all exciting. So it's all good fun. So for the NFT DAO, most definitely, once we have it down in exactly knowing what transactions goes where and all this type of stuff, especially, for example, in my case, we're looking more towards how to deal with contribution tokens and governance tokens and this type of things, then yes, this will make it much more clearer, definitely.
I love the enthusiasm. I'm glad you're having
Yeah.
a great time with the Plutus program. Excellent. So what are some big takeaways you can give the audience about the Plutus Pioneers program, just in layman's terms?
Well, it's first of all, it's challenging to say the least, but I think when you have enough enthusiasm to drive yourself to do it, right now as it is, just to give you an idea how challenging it is, like because it's the first ever language that's being put out there, it's not like Python or R, when you can just simply go online on Stack Overflow or just Google it, because not a lot of people do this type of programming. But it's being developed. I think there's a new Stack Exchange sort of portal that's being a beta phase that's coming out, and we're supposed to be testing out with sending out questions and getting more answers to it. So I think after this first iteration of this Plutus program, there's going to be a lot more developers that's coming in and contributing to it. So although I don't take this as a dampening thing, like obviously it's a very exciting program and language in itself. And if you really like and believe in the idea of ADA and Cardano, then it's really worthwhile to learn these type of things. Yeah.
Absolutely. So are you ready
Yeah.
to build some NFT marketplaces?
Well, yes. I mean, definitely. Yes. This is definitely on the horizon. So once I think we are sort of already done with the program, then it's all a matter of translating that into something more on the front end, and trying to work those things out together. And then we'll see what we're going to, maybe we'll make we'll make it definitely something that's enjoyable and reliable and stable for everyone, I guess. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Love it. So any closing remarks you'd like to say to everybody before we wrap this up?
Before we're ready, so yeah, I know that there's a lot of people who are probably did not get into the Plutus Pioneering Program. Don't fret about that, because there's many links for you to get into it. If you go into, for example, the IOHK Dev Community Slack channel, if you message what was his name, Ben O'Hannon, I think was his name. I'm sorry if I got his last name wrong, but he will easily give you the links to it, and you can easily join in. And right now, as we are growing into a decentralized community, community style, there's a lot of people coming up with like YouTube videos and all this creativity coming out. So if you ever feel like you want to join, don't fret and strut and stop. Don't think like, I'll join next semester. No. You join right now so that you can, get right into the weeds of it. And it's exciting.
Yes, absolutely. Wow, it's just a pleasure hearing from you. All right, so this concludes the podcast. Thank you all for joining, and all relevant links will be found in the description box below. And be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And until next time, build on, build strong, and build right. Take care.